Thank you for downloading this in-ear entertainment podcast. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. Sonnet 56. Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said thy edge should blunter be than appetite, but which but today by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might. So, love, be thou, although today thou fill thy hungry eyes even till they wink with fulness, tomorrow see again, and do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dulness. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore, where two contracted new come daily to the banks, that when they see return of love, more blest may be the view. As call it winter, which being full of care makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare. That was Sonnet 56 of Shakespeare's Sonnets. I'm Mark Chassley and you're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. That was the wrong order. And I am joined this week by a American buzz-cutty looking...
General Hillis.
Yeah.
Hello.
General, you've adopted...
I shot right up.
That's good. Tierra's had a bit of a buzz cut going on. It looks good. It looks good, although slightly intimidating for a kind of hippie-ish person like me.
It's fine.
Sonnet 56. What do you think of this one? What do you like this one? Do you hate it? Do you hate it? Hate it. Go on.
It's very lovey thingy, so I'm gonna say I hate it.
Oh, you cynic, you.
I have to stay true to my cynical nature.
I see. I'm going to disagree. I quite like it. It's another one of those where I think it's a bit cliched now, but that's because it's probably been adopted in and become cliched rather than it being cliched when it was written. But why don't you like it? Do you just not like it because it's all about love, and you're a poor, sad, lonely man?
That's it exactly. No, actually, my first thought was another sonnet that he wrote later on, 116, which has the line "Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds."
Yep.
Which the idea to this is fairly close. He goes on about sweet love, renew thy force, be it not set thy yet should blunder be there an appetite. It's a very nice thought and very nice image.
Yeah, it's kind of the idea that you can never be sick of love. You can never have so much love that you overdose on it and become sick of it. In the same way that I discovered a very nice sandwich from M&S a couple of years ago, and I ate it every day for about 2 weeks, and now the smell of it makes me want to puke.
Yeah, I had that with a particular kind of pizza I ate in school every day for about a month, and I still today, if I go back, I walk past that shop, the thought of it, even just now thinking about it, it's just
making you a little queasy.
Yeah,
but love isn't like that, according to Shakespeare. It is.
I think about love now and just go, just glad that's over and done with.
So you're disagreeing with Shakespeare on this one. That's risky territory to be on.
No, I seriously, I do actually agree with that. You don't really... No one who is in love no one who loves, I should say, ever wishes that it would stop. Unless it is unrequited and incredibly painful to be in that situation, which it doesn't seem to be for Shakespeare here.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
I did kind of get that impression to begin with, but now it does seem more reciprocal than it ever has before. The history of Shakespeare or Shakespeare's character in The Fair Youth seems more reciprocal, and yeah, the idea that I can be around you forever and I'll never get sick of you is a sweet one. I'm not wholly convinced it's completely true. I suppose you get sick of the person rather than sick of the love feeling. But is that something that's unique to love, or is that something that happens to all emotions?
That's just human relationships. You can't always be happy around someone. It's too intimate a relationship to just always be cheery. There's I mean, even in friendship or just family relations. There's always going to be a point where you fight, or you just don't want to be near the other person, and just
you want to be on your own sometimes.
Yeah.
But being on your own in a relationship doesn't mean you're not in love with that person anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, I would even say that most fights you have because there is just too many strong emotions, rather than not giving a damn about the other person.
But is that something that's unique to love? Does that apply to hate as well? That you can never overdose on hate. That I don't tend to hate people, so I don't really know. But I mean, thinking of sort of far right wing groups like the KKK and Westro Baptist and people like that, they don't seem to get sick of hating. They don't sort of hate a lot in the morning and then go, well, that's me done with hate for today. I'll give it a rest for the rest of the day and go to the swimming pool. They seem to just be constantly hateful. So is it a innate property of human emotions that we can never get tired of them, in the sense that we would get tired of being around someone?
I don't. In the case of the Westboro Baptist Church, I'm not so sure it's just the hatred, though. It is just the righteousness and they actually they think they are doing God's work in trying to protest homosexuality
and anything and everything.
And anything and everything.
I suppose in that sense it's not a pure emotion. It's hard to find an analogy then for love, which is kind of a being. You don't say I am in hate in the same way that you say I am in love. And so I don't know if there's
there's a difference between the in love and love. Whereas there are no steps to hate. You hate someone. There's no initial phase where the entire world just looks black instead of pink.
So it doesn't infect your other senses, I guess.
I mean, it makes you. I mean, hate. It still makes you angry. It still influences you as a person, but you don't. It's not like you can see dead pigs fly. It's just.
Oh, what can you see? I can see bacon flying, dead pigs just flying everywhere. No, so maybe it is something that's unique to love. Then that's quite interesting that you can. It's something that just happens to you that you can never get sick of or fed up of.
Which doesn't mean that you can never fall out of love.
No. I think we're moving into a section of the sonnets, having read ahead slightly of
that's cheating, Mark.
I know it is. It's cheating by my own standards, but of idolatry and doting on someone and worshipping. In not an extreme sense, but those kind of words is where we're heading. And so I think what this sonnet is kind of setting up is this idea that you can serve someone in a very wide sense of the word serve. You can serve someone if you're in love with them and not be fed up with it. That's kind of what I'm taking from it.
Yeah. I guess love is a selfless act. You don't. I mean,
it's a nice feeling. Can anything be selfless if it's a nice feeling?
The act of loving someone, you don't love someone, so you feel better.
No, that's true. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it feels nice to be loved in return.
And in fact, you can love someone and that makes you feel terrible.
Yeah.
You can love someone you're not meant to be in love with. You can love someone who has ideals that are different to you. It can be divorced from feelings of joy, I guess. Love.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
And it still can last forever.
Yeah. Yes.
Although I guess at some point it'll just turn into an obsession. If you just, yeah.
The end point of love is obsession and.
Well, I saw a. I'm not sure if he listens to the podcast. Dan Grosvenor. He should listen. If you're listening, hello Dan.
Hello Dan.
He posted a video of Tim Minchin about love. Well, it was more about religion, but there's this amazing line in it where Tim Minchin says, he has an argument with a religious person, and the religious person says, but you love and you have no evidence for love. And Tim Minchin says, well, I love and I am loved. Love without evidence is just stalking. Which...
Yeah, I think that's fair. Love without evidence is stalking. Oh, blimey. I might stalk quite a few people.
I mean, now Twitter, Facebook, most of it is stalking.
There is definitely a element in the modern world that you can be far more involved with someone's life
that you will never ever meet or even speak to
than you ever could before, and stuff that would have seemed stalkery in the past. Like it's very strange meeting someone and them going, "Oh, how are you? How are you feeling now? I know you weren't feeling very well last week," and it's just because you put a tweet on Twitter. And suddenly this person that you're meeting the first time is asking you whether you've gotten over what you had before, which is quite an odd mindset. It's quite nice in a way. I quite like it, but I can see why it would freak some people out.
It's very easy to manipulate people as well. If you're conscious of what you're actually writing, you can very easily manipulate people's perception of you or of your life.
Oh, that's quite sad. Do people do that deliberately? That's quite sad if they do. Social media is a way for me to go, listen to my brain. This is what my brain says. Rather than, I'm going to calculatedly put this here so that people have this reaction, and then in a week's time I can play on that. And that seems like far too much effort.
I'm not saying everyone does it, but I'm saying it's fairly easy to create an image. I mean, there's a lot of personas out there that people believe. I mean, the whole what was she called? Lonely Girl 15 on YouTube a couple of years ago. Where everyone just believed that those vlogs were real and they just bought it, and then it turned out everything was just scripted.
And that's, I suppose, that links back to celebrity in a sense that the people that you see on TV probably aren't the celebrities, especially with comedians. Comedians definitely take on a persona of this is how I'm going to act, and like Alan Davis acts the fool, and David Mitchell acts as a kind of very upper middle class
person,
not understanding current culture, and I'm sure those people aren't like that. They're personas they take on, which facilitates joking when you're on a panel show, because you can guess how someone's going to react to something you say, and it just allows that to develop.
Well, if you read, because David Mitchell writes for The Observer as well, fairly regularly, and if you read that, I mean, it's still his upper class sort of. That's just, at the end of the day, he is just upper middle class. That's just his background. But he is highly aware of the social, popular culture and everything that goes on around him. So it's
unlike me, where I have no sense of popular culture at all.
We'll do an episode about the Kardashians one day, and then you'll get educated.
Excellent. I can't wait. So we kind of spun off a little bit there and talked about lots of interesting things, I think.
Well, we stayed close to love for most of it.
Exactly. This sonnet does have some beautiful lines in it, I think. My favourite being that so love be thou, although today thou fill thy hungry eyes, even till they wink with fullness, tomorrow see again. I love the idea that your eyes get so full of love that they wink with fullness, and they have to close to hold in how much love they've absorbed. But then tomorrow, everything's fine, and you just go on. And I think it's such a lovely little metaphor, little simile, or whatever it is. You know, one of those literary terms.
Even till they're wait.
There's a third one. There's another one called... A simile is like something, a metaphor is something, and then a metonymy is something taking on the properties of something else.
That's the word. That's the word.
I know this stuff. I just don't like
That's the creative writing module shining through.
It is. And then you come down to a bit of religious language in the second half of the sonnet, where it starts talking about parting of the ocean rather than parting of the sea, but obviously it brings the same image to mind, and the banks of, and there's a bit of religious referencing there, I guess, to the parting of the sea. Or is that me just a leap too far?
No, I guess you can see religion in that.
But I like the idea that there's where two contracted new come daily to the banks, that when they see return of love, more blessed may be the view. It's quite nice, this idea of a new couple going to the banks of an ocean, and which parts the shore. The ocean, it's not talking about a literal divide like in the Bible. It's talking about the sort of, I think anyway, it's talking about the tides coming in and out. But the language, I think, has been constructed in such a way to make it have kind of religious overtones, I guess is what I'm saying. Maybe that is a bit too much of a leap. I've stunned you with silence.
No, I'm just looking at the parting shores. Just wondering whether whether that's a reference to something else.
No,
because it doesn't really. I've lost the line now. The ocean bee which parts the shores.
Yeah.
It's not the ocean that actually split. Well, the ocean does the act of splitting. It's not the ocean that gets separated in half.
Oh yeah, that's true. So I mean, because this has been a series of sonnets where the fair youth or Shakespeare, one of the two, is away from the other one, and we've had talk of before of being divided by the sea. So they're on different. Well, it's not that hard to be divided by the sea when one of you's in the UK, but one of them is in another country across the sea, and so yeah, in that sense, the ocean does part the shores of the two countries.
Yeah, I'm just I'm reading up. Apparently,
Thierry reads.
Yeah, quickly
I was steal someone else's opinion
during the Trojan War.
Yeah,
they had two bridges that went from Persia into Greece. That got destroyed, and obviously the Trojan War was all about lovers. Well, that's what started it.
Yes,
someone stealing the wife
of someone else. See, it never pays.
I was going to say stealing Diane Kruger, but she played her in the film.
Oh, bless. Your history is just full of celebrities, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
And it ends on quite a nice two-liner at the end, as they all do, but some of them are better than others, but this one's quite nice. As call it winter, which being full of care makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare. And the idea that making you wait, it's that waiting makes the heart grow fonder kind of thought, but in a much more poetic way than waiting makes the heart grow fonder. Thrice more wished, more rare. It's just lovely, I think.
It's also the number 3 that keeps popping up in Shakespeare.
He does like the 3's quite would have been one of the magic numbers. One of the would have been very symbolic of religion at the time and things like that. It's a number.
Isn't it or witchcraft? Because is it Macbeth? The opening scene with the witches.
Yes.
There's
there where they had 3 witches in Macbeth, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3's quite a historically, it's always been they call them, I think they're called magic numbers, not in any sort of mathematical sense, like you have happy numbers and lonely numbers and stuff, not in that sense, but magic numbers in the sense that they appear in religious and mythological context quite a lot. And I don't know what would have started it, but you tend to always have 3 wise men, the 3 factors of God, 3 witches, the Trinity. It comes up quite a lot over and over.
There is probably, I mean, I doubt it originated in Christianity. It's not exactly a religion that had any original ideas.
Oh, bless it. It must have had a couple in there somewhere.
Probably, but all of the major sort of ideas existed before.
But as with a lot of modern religions, that's the case.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying Christianity is the only...
Yeah.
I'm just saying just because we have the Holy Trinity and those sort of things today doesn't mean that...
It came from there. No, it would have been much, much older than that. And I'm sure you could find references to Greek and Norse mythology and Egyptian mythology and much further back. It just seems to be a number that we as a species are drawn to. 3, and there's others like 3 and 7 come up quite a lot. 10 comes up quite a lot, I think.
We have 4, the perfect family: father, mother, daughter, boy, sort of.
Yes, the nuclear family, isn't it?
Nuclear family, yeah.
That American ideal that it's what you want is mother, father, boy, girl, and then everyone is happy. No one will be gay. There'll be no affairs, and the family will be happy forever. Is what will happen there.
Yes, because no one who has ever just had one sibling was gay.
No.
That's how it works.
There's actually some studies out there which suggest the more in male children. I don't think it's the same with females. There's different mechanisms, I think.
But isn't it the odds increase that you get
every
homosexual
male
child?
Yeah, the odds increase, which didn't work for me because I'm the firstborn. So
you screwed things up.
I did. I messed up that study. Oh well.
They do. They do weird ones. They had John Berriman did a BBC documentary a couple of years ago
Awesome.
about why he was gay, and they did the test with him, how many words he knows, because apparently the more words you know, the more feminine your brain is.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm just like, he's an actor.
Yeah.
He's been in plays and movies and TV shows for decades. Obviously, he's going to know more words than the average bloke on the street. He just.
I remember they attached him up to that. There's that machine they made. It's an American invention when they were very, very worried about the homosexual agenda. Back when they thought it was like an organized underground thing.
Wow.
But it was a device it's like a little elastic band, and you strap it around the male parts, and then you show them images, and they're some of them are traditional sort of heterosexual sexual images, some of them are homosexual sexual images, and some of them are pictures of ducks or something. Mm-hmm. And then you can measure blood flow in and out of the organ, so to speak. And it's incredibly...
The reproductive, yeah.
And supposedly it's impossible to fool because it's a subconscious reaction to engorge that area with blood. You can't consciously go, there's an image that I find interesting, I'm going to stop the blood flowing. Even if you think of something else, that image has registered in your brain, so the mechanisms have happened subconsciously in your body, and it's a way of telling how whether someone's gay or not. It's an atrociously odd thing to do.
Never mind the fact that, I mean, I'm heterosexual, but not every image of a girl or a girl and a guy turns me on, or I even find remotely interesting.
No, but in general, you would react more to the one set of photos and another set of photos, and so you can gauge.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there would be a reaction.
No, well, I'm not talking about, well, hey, let's get the party started reaction. It's like it measures minute increases in flow of blood, I guess.
Weird.
Yeah, very odd. On that very odd note, sorry everyone. Would you like to read the sonnet?
God, I'm not sure I can now.
It's a lovely sonnet, and the hyphens in today and tomorrow, that at least in my version, don't make it hard to read at all.
I have those. That's.
It's
I quite like that writing.
Oh, I hate it.
To-morrow.
It breaks my brain.
But that's what the words actually are. To-morrow.
I know, but it breaks my brain.
Sonnet 56. Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said, thy edge should blunter be thine appetite. But
you missed a word.
I know. Oh God! Not even. It's been too long since.
It has been a couple of weeks for us. Sorry, everyone.
Sonnet 56. Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said, thy edge should blunter be thine appetite, which but today feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might. So love, be thou, although today thou fill thy hungry eyes, even till they wink with fulness, tomorrow see again, and do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dulness. Let the sad interim like the ocean be which do Shoshana. Which I don't know. I needed something to get out of the sh. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore, where two contracted new come daily to the banks, then when they see return of love, more blest may be the view. As call it winter, which being full of care, makes summer's welcome, thrice more wished, more rare.
Excellent. That was very nice. That was Sonnet 56 of Shakespeare's sonnets. You've been listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets, the self-titled podcast. I've been Mark Chatterley, and you can follow me on Twitter at Nufkin.
And I've been Thierry Hillis, and you can follow me on Twitter at Sound of Seagulls.
And we've been having a lot of fun recently with this funky invention called Flatter. If you don't know what it is, go to FLATTR, because it's funky to drop the E in these words modern times, .com, flatter.com, and you can look it up. And it's a cool micro donation service to podcasts and all things creative, and it's very cool. So give it a check out. And I'm running out of words. We shall see you next time, I guess.
We should. Turn in next time, or we will find you and hunt you down.
Yeah, and serenade you with Sonnet 57. That's what we do. Bye-bye.
That's the worst threat ever. Goodbye.
You've been listening to Shakespeare Sonnets with Mark Chatterley and Thierry Hillis. This has been an In-Ear Entertainment podcast. To listen to other podcasts or find out more about In-Ear Entertainment, go to www.inearentertainment.com.